There's a group of fireworks hotshots who call themselves GFA Pyro.
I love when my guys get excited.
I get to blow stuff out for fun.
They're a small company with big plans. But to make it to the top, they'll have to blow the competition away.
I need more shell now. Let's go.
One explosion at a time. This time on Pyros, GFA gets kicked around in France.
We're kind of guessing somebody didn't respect the budget.
And back home, Mother Nature shows Eric who's really in charge. Benoit Berthelet and Philippe Girard have just been airdropped into France. They've come to battle head-to-head with some of the best pyrotechs in the world.
Fury is a French company that hosts the event. Their technician will help us out during the setup.
GFA's resident artist and its star technician were brought here by invitation. All expenses paid. Benoit and Philippe don't know it yet, but they may have been flown in as cannon fodder. They're going to the town of Saint-Brévin, a popular beachside getaway. But this is no vacation.
We just arrived at Saint-Brévin, the beach.
Tonight, 100,000 people will watch 3 countries, Portugal, Canada, and France, fight it out in the skies. A victory here could launch upstart GFA into the big leagues. The munitions arrive. All the fireworks that Canada and Portugal ordered.
This is our stuff, with the cakes one side, the shells the other side.
Canada.
Surprise number 1.
Portugal.
Portugal's share looks bigger than Canada's. A lot bigger.
Portugal.
Mais il y a autre chose que du Portugal?
Portugal. En fait, les Canadiens n'ont rien. Portugal.
They realized that we were in kind of trouble when we piled up our explosive. They piled the Portuguese explosive, and it was like double.
But this is a competition, and there's no sympathy from Team Portugal.
No more for you. It's finished. Go home.
Portugal's team leader is a force to be reckoned with. Fernando Macedo is a 3rd-generation pyro who's used to winning.
I can check 14, and I go here and check the 14 here. Yes. Yes, I know.
Canada is now seriously outgunned.
We're kind of guessing somebody didn't respect the budget. And maybe a French company put maybe a little more, maybe Portuguese as well. Sometimes people put a little money from their pocket. That could happen. I'm not saying anything, but this is a possibility, let's say.
Surprise number 2. Benoit ordered 41 special bombs. Powerful green flashers for his big finish. They're not here.
Silver wave.
The competition organizer swapped out those brilliant green flashers for something far more run-of-the-mill.
When the team order the fireworks, we don't have very big storage, so some of them can be changed, replaced. It's always sad, but we always do our best to give the best products that we can.
It's not a good change.
Without those green flashers, Benoit's tiny show has no finale.
what I supposed to have, I didn't have it, and they changed for puny shells. So I lose some beautiful effects I was supposed to have, and so it's life.
While France advances on the beach, Benoit is forced to redesign on the fly.
Yeah, Benoit is taking care of a little modification here and there. Yeah.
With what little he has. Portugal has already finished prepping their armaments. It's an intimidating stockpile.
Oh, this is Portuguese material. It's quite a lot. The real difference is a lot of one-shots. Well, we'll see.
The Canadian team hits the sand.
The challenge was me and Benoit just not to get discouraged, to see the quantity of explosive getting on the field for the other company and us having our tiny show. You're just crossing fingers that you won't look like a fool.
An audience of 100,000 people. How many people can do that? Maybe Paul McCartney, Metallica, and us, the pyrotechnics people.
It's half an hour before launch time.
Here is a system will be used for the Portuguese and the French shows.
The main firing board is a new type of console that Benoit doesn't understand. So he brought his own board.
I came here with a system I know, so I will start the show from here with my computer.
France is up first. Canada is on deck.
It's a little bit tricky with the weather. I just saw lightnings over there. There's lightning back there. So we're stuck in between two thunderstorms.
C'est bon pour tout le monde, genre?
French open big. The judges are scoring the effects, the soundtrack, and how well the two are synchronized. And that's where the home team starts running into trouble. Their big show feels out of sync.
Those guys don't have much experience in pyro musical shows, and we could see it.
But the home crowd is pulling for them. The French team delivers a killer finale. The French act as if they've already won. Even Portugal's team leader manages some grudging respect.
I'm going to be clear. I didn't like too much the music, and the French team don't make good synchronization with the fireworks. But he made a great finale.
Now Benoit and Philippe have to follow France's big finish with a tiny show and no ending. Benoit braces for humiliation. Benoit Berthelet and Philippe Girard are in France in their first international competition. Representing GFA and Canada. It's been rough. Their rivals seem to have way more pyro than they're supposed to. To top it off,
Silver wave. Ugh.
Benoit is missing the effects he ordered for his big finale. A part of the show that France's team just nailed.
Moi, je suis prêt à commencer. Je sais pas si on est prêt, là.
Là, ça va bien, parfait, c'est beau. Everything's good.
Benoit and Philippe have done all they can with the little they have. It's time. The small show starts well enough. It's a synchronized design that shows Benoit's sense of timing and his eye for beauty. All their shells are firing exactly according to the rejigged plan.
What we've done, Benoit and I, is perfect technical work.
Benoit may be looking at a well-crafted show, but he knows it'll end with a whimper, not a bang. It's just what Benoit has been dreading. His show's ending is so weak, the crowd misses it. The announcer has to prod them.
Alors je pense qu'on vous a pas entendu du tout. Encore un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour le Canada.
Synchronization was there. Little material, but still a good show. Happy it's done. Happy it's finished.
But the pain isn't over for the Canadians.
I'm ready for rock and roll.
Now it's Portugal's turn, and they're well armed.
It will be a paradise in the sky for sure.
Mesdames, messieurs, le Portugal.
As soon as Portugal's show starts, Phil and Benoit see why Macedo is a pyrotechnic superstar.
Portuguese open with a really nice sequence of one-shots. This is really powerful with jury.
Fernando Macedo exerts precise control over his effects, his music, and his audience.
Me and Benoit, we look at each other and say, okay, that's it, we're winning.
Then it happens. Portugal's show stalls. The board has simply stopped sending signals. Macedo's show is at the mercy of someone else's firing system. The board starts working again. And then it stops again. And again. Then it's back. Benoit's show had no ending. Macedo's has had 4 by the time it's over.
Mesdames, messieurs, le Portugal.
And we have to check everything.
You are like in jail, you know? what can I do? I can do nothing. I don't know. It's not my equipment. I'm shooting with the equipment from the production. Something happens here. They don't tell me yet.
When I see some blackness in the sky for any competitor, I feel bad, you know, because it happens to us in the past.
There have been some problem with the Portugal, one box that didn't work. That's the main problem with technology.
It's been a night full of surprises. As the judges head to the microphone, the news slips out.
France numéro 3.
On est troisième.
The French didn't win.
Eh bien, mesdames, messieurs, merci en tout cas de votre patience.
But who did?
Eh bien, le Canada remporte ce 13e festival pyrotechnique. Suivi du Portugal et de la France.
Benoit's beautifully synchronized show and Philippe's perfect technical setup saved the day for Canada and beat the world's best at their own game.
Merci infiniment. Bravo.
I think at some point in this competition, we were the underdog. We really thought that would be a massacre. And finally we won, so it's cool. It's a happy ending. So the underdog won.
Benoit and Philippe have proved they've got the chops to beat the big dogs.
The finale, the audience like the French. But the synchronization may be mine. The perfect, it was the Canadian.
The old saying said it's not because it's big that it's good.
Back in Canada, Eric Cardinal sets up a spectacular show on the water for a big summer blast. But Mother Nature has her own plans. It's going to be a hellish week.
Get back! Get back! The idea, you don't see right at the end of this road, there's a dock. We'll back up to that.
Eric Cardinal has brought a big crew to a small lake in the Laurentian Mountains.
What a rough way to start a day.
He's going to launch a week-long pyro marathon here, starting tomorrow night. Saint-Agathe is a little tourist town that wants more tourists.
This festival was really important. There was some interest in the city to put the Saint-Agathe on the map.
The town is hosting a summer extravaganza. Nightly rock concerts, followed by mind-blowing pyro, specially designed by Eric.
We're going to the main platform now, and that's where we're building our main show.
He's built 4 floating stages.
It's actually a really cool docking system. They're all cubes that are tied together. The only problem was that they're made out of plastic. And that's why they made this little fiber cement flooring on it. Master plan. We needed these 2 days of setup because there's a lot of time needed to transfer the material on the barges. Didn't know what kind of hiccups we'd get along the way.
Eric keeps his team moving.
Now we'll start with the row of 3, like on the plan.
He's seen the forecast.
We'll have a crew working here. We'll have a crew working the front positions.
Eric's design uses 4 platforms. The biggest shells will fire from the main one. 3 smaller ones fire low-level effects, closer to the audience on the beach.
So it gives like a 3-dimensional feeling too to the show. Makes a more beautiful show, more complete show.
Rushed in from his surprise victory in France, Philippe Girard has his work cut out for him. First up, fitting all of Eric's small caliber effects onto 3 platforms, each smaller than a parking space.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cakes here.
How that's going to work is up to him. Eric has king-sized ambitions for this show, but he won't be able to pull it off without a platoon of foot soldiers.
I need 2 more on that side right there.
Laura Smith is his sergeant on the main platform.
She's not here yet? No. So if we move on to the other side, we still don't have any 4-inch.
She's been handling pyro since Eric was 12.
Laura knows how to build a show from A to Z. When she has an opinion, she lets it be known.
If you want to double check, you know, I'd like you to just...
Yeah.
And Laura's not shy about taking charge.
So these are 6-inch nauticals, all the rest goes in the
I
back.
just wanted to know which one was the one, this one or this one. All right.
Eric has brought something special for his big water show. Spectacular pyro bombs called nautical shells.
There's 6-inch nauticals and 4-inch nauticals in this show.
They don't shoot into the sky. They're aimed out, like cannonballs from a gunship.
Nice, juicy stuff.
The job goes to another veteran, Pierre Baudin.
To be in a certain angle, you don't want them to go too far.
The angle of elevation affects how far a nautical shell will travel before hitting the water. Even a small change in the elevation can make the shell go a lot farther. So the angle has to be set carefully.
You're not firing in the sky, but you're often firing toward a crowd.
Eric's first and only full day of prep is about to end early. The forecasted storm is rolling in. The storm turns electrical.
It feels really clean, man. Looking for your skis. I will play.
Philippe is forced to give up on his missing keys. Day 1 is a washout. Eric's crew starts the next morning half a day behind schedule.
Hey guys, ready to go?
The first show is tonight.
Take the tarp and fold it this way.
Wait. No, hold
I want to keep the water from inside the tubes because, of course, we're loading some black powder at the bottom there, so we don't want that wet.
Okay, it's okay, it's going. Go slow.
Water and mortars and fireworks, you have to be careful.
These are the nautical shells that are going to be going into here. It's got a small lifting charge, enough to push it out of the mortar. It'll land on the water, and it'll explode on the water.
Plastic balls inside here, like little tiny bombs.
Each of these nautical shells is actually a cluster of bombs. The quick match lights the lift charge and 9 different time delay fuses. On impact, the 8 smaller ones go off one after another, followed by the main blast.
8 small caliber shells ending with a 150 millimeter one break. That was the biggest shell we had.
Pete, how far do they shoot out?
We hope around 150 to 175 feet from this point.
They're erratic a little bit. Yeah. They're nice, but they're that.
By late afternoon, The pyro has been loaded. The wiring's done. Tonight's show will be Eric's first chance to see what his nautical shells will do.
Hey.
I told you, Eric, I was really happy that I found my keys.
Okay, so...
Okay, we're ready.
Thanks, man.
It's going to be a big night out for a small mountain town.
Before showtime, you're always trying to think of something you might have forgotten, what could go wrong. You go through all the ifs.
When the concert ends, Eric calls the crowd to the beach with a warning shot. GFA's boss, Mode Furtado, is here to check in on Eric's first show of the festival.
We're gonna put the volume up high and finish with a big bang, loud music, loud fireworks. I think we're gonna have a good time tonight.
Eric will surprise the crowd with a volley of nautical shells to start off.
Sick nauticals in 10 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right now. Uh-oh.
But the nauticals don't launch.
What the hell? Oh. But that's just the fronts.
Only the smallest shells on the front platforms are firing. Nothing is firing from the main platform. Not the nauticals, not the other big pyro. Eric has to do what no pyro wants to. Kill his own show.
OK, je pars en bateau?
Oui, vas-y en bateau.
Let's go, les gars!
Philippe races to the main platform, while the audience waits. Philippe suspects the problem is with the slave board, the unit that receives signals from Eric's master firing board. The slave has unexpectedly gone into sleep mode. Philippe reboots it. But Eric won't know if the problem is fixed until Philippe is safely out of the blast zone.
Okay, we're back on track. Let's reboot the wireless. It's just too bad for the crowd. 3, 2, 1.
The pyro kicks off again, but the first 4 minutes of the program are missing. 4 crucial minutes that included Eric's big nautical display. He's wishing he double-checked that slave board.
1 minute prior to the show, I really should have tested again.
The rest of the show goes off without a hitch.
All right.
But the pyros know they didn't deliver the whole show.
So, I guess we had a show. So,
There's no time to mope. They've got a dangerous job ahead of them.
Okay, so let's do this methodically. We'll work our way from here to the next side. So let's expect the tubes first.
They have to find all the live shells that didn't go off during those first 4 minutes and defuse them.
Here's one.
I've got one.
A lot of equipment didn't pop off.
Every pyro wants to see all the shells in a show launch.
Oh. Yeah, look at this one. Look at this. I think the shell burst like right at the muzzle instead of in the sky.
Each unfired shell they find is a reminder that things did not go well tonight.
After a show that doesn't fire perfectly, it always hurts, you know. We work so hard on it.
All right, that was a little but
Get on with tomorrow and start another day.
Eric's next show has to deliver. The client is paid for a must-see event, and without those nautical shells, the show comes up short.
All the different elements all put together, that was going to be my big chance for a perfect show.
You holding it?
Eric needs to make sure the slave unit stays awake tonight, so he sends someone to reboot it half an hour before showtime. And this time, he puts Philippe and another pyro on standby out on the water, in case the slave board needs a speedy reboot.
Me and Nick were on fire watch on the boat, the barge, if I need to race there. It's gonna be nice. Nice and live. It's gonna be awesome. Look how close we're gonna be, man.
I think we're close enough.
System armed.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The first of Eric's nauticals, the smaller ones, launch perfectly.
We had some gerbs, like fountains, jumping gerbs. We had some where it was illuminations out on the water.
Nice. Oh, well done.
Right on time.
Philippe and Nick have the best seats in the house. Maybe too good.
All the smoke's coming here.
Suddenly, Philippe realizes they're in danger.
Back up, back up, back up, back up.
Even Eric's tent is under assault, pelted with fallout. The second wave of nauticals rockets from the platform. These are the stars of the show, the big cluster bombs that break up when they hit the water. But something's not right.
See how that one went far?
Yeah.
Compared to the other ones?
The nauticals are flying too far.
Oh boy, oh boy.
They're almost reaching the shore. Suddenly, one lands just meters from the tent.
Water shell, get back! Get back!
Disastrous nights in a row for Eric Cardinal. On night one, his special nautical shells didn't get off the launch pad. Tonight, they're flying out of control.
Water shell, get back! Get back!
A close call. Exciting for the audience, but this kind of excitement is the last thing the pyros needed tonight.
I'm really stunned that I made it this far.
Our responsibility shooting the show is to make sure that everybody's safe.
I saw it land in the water. It exploded right here in front of him.
I knew that we definitely had to fix it, but I couldn't really tell why. The distances seemed to be fine.
Eric doesn't have a clue what caused the misfire. But one thing's for sure, it can't happen again. Next morning, it's still on everyone's mind.
It was way too close for comfort.
In the light of day, it's becoming clear what the problem was. They'd underestimated the nauticals.
It went past the small barge. It fell right beside the tent. A regular aerial shell, you calculate around 100 feet per inch. Okay, so a regular 6-inch is supposed to do around 600 to 700 feet in height. Nautical shell are supposed to be made to go half the distance. It's 300 feet. But those ones are so powerful that they make the 600 feet distances, so we were caught by surprise for sure.
Firing these nauticals in this tight a space means even at the lowest angles, they could still travel too far. The only solution? Lob them higher.
By having it like this, it will raise up in the air, do his 600 feet, same thing, but will fall like maybe 100, 150 feet away from the barge. There we go, that one's done.
The crew reloads their 600 mortars. They're in the home stretch now. But in the afternoon, the clouds roll in.
All of a sudden, it's getting dark.
A storm like the one that killed their first day of prep could kill tonight's show.
They're not really calling for any rain till 10, but you could never tell. Big downpour and wind, like when we were setting up that first day, that could be a problem for us. And there we go. Don't forget to hop on.
Tonight will be the last concert. Eric's last chance.
Saint Agathe was an important challenge for us. They just wanted a world-class event with big fireworks. Throughout the week, we had different challenges with the nautical shells, the weather. This never, ever happened to me. The crowd doesn't necessarily know, but I definitely know what was missing in the show. I want the crowd to see the best show possible. I knew that at that point, it had to go well. It was, I was really anxious, nervous.
We know the storm's coming tonight, later in the night, but
after the show will be perfect.
Yeah.
Eric is ready, but the storm is moving in, and the concert is going long.
I tried to call the organization to try to push the show a little quicker, but I mean, what can we do? There's one song left.
The showtime's coming and the storm's coming, and they're just about to match.
We heard about another festival that's a city not that far away, and tents are flying away and stuff, so I'm serious, there's a huge storm on its way.
Philippe checks the weather reports.
It's coming right now.
Oh, that's gonna be bad.
Honnêtement, Eric, ça va nous tomber sur la tête dans 2 minutes.
I've never seen a storm come up so quickly, so close to showtime like that.
We're about 5 minutes away.
Eric's showtime comes and goes. But the concert grinds on.
Oh my God. That's not looking good at all.
There's no way I'm shooting in this. This is nuts.
He's had to call off the show.
C'est impossible pour moi de tirer. C'est des vents très dangereux.
It definitely hurts to pull a plug on a big show like that on such a big evening, but you have to do it sometimes. Safety comes first.
I just can't shoot in this. This is crazy wind. It's out of control.
Someone is going to have to tell the audience to go home. But suddenly, the winds drop.
Là, ça semble se calmer un petit peu. Êtes-vous game de prendre une chance, faire descendre le monde?
No, the plastic it's not strong enough to...
It's calm on the ground, but at altitude, it might still be too windy. Eric fires a test shot to find out.
No movement on the not really
Clear, right up, straight up.
Okay, let's do it. Sign this second.
I was in with a big loudspeaker out and say, listen, you want
Okay, it's about time now, and so I'll calm down. It's a good moment.
But did the fireworks survive the deluge?
I was just praying that we had a 15-minute break in the sky.
Hurry up, people. 1 minute away.
One last chance to get everything right.
Okay, now.
The audience stuck it out through the rain, and now they get their reward.
It's actually looking good.
It was such a relief to see it fired, to see the crowd enjoying it.
The rain is actually a good thing. It's held all that smoke down.
A lot better. We couldn't see all the volcano like that the other night.
It was a long schedule, long days, short nights. Felt good. I think everybody's really happy we were going to finish that stretch of shows in a great fashion.
Nautical shells are launching now.
The nauticals do just what they're supposed to do. The smaller ones and the 6-inch cluster bombs. After the perfect storm, Eric finally gets his perfect show. The show that almost didn't get off the ground turns out to be Eric's tour de force. A memorable end to St. Agath's first summer pyro festival. An unforgettable week for Eric's crew.
That's nice.
Next time on Pyros.
Watch out!
GFA gets jazzed.
I'm gonna die.
And the boys light the candles on their country's birthday cake. Pyro style.